Is the Acolyte really as bad as they say? Well, before the show even dropped an episode, I felt like I was already facing an uphill battle.
Well, Anakin just killed a whole Death Star. How many people died on that? Huh?
I don't really see anything positive coming from these pressers from Marvel or Star Wars anymore. Like, why are they even doing them? What's the point? I feel like what they're doing with that now is they're losing potential viewers at this point. Like, the people who are going to watch your shit are going to watch your shit. The only decision they're going to make by watching the press junket is that they're not going to watch it because you say something stupid. They always ruin it because they say the same shit.
As a person who's outside and just a fan coming in,
they call themselves fans and then go ahead and say some dumb shit, which is the reason why here on the channel, and I've said this to you a million times, I don't throw that word around lightly. I value it. People say it too much. So if I were to call myself a Star Wars fan, I feel like I'm offending Star Wars fans. Okay?
Oh, my miss.
So I feel the need to say this every time I talk about Star Wars. I enjoy the games more than I enjoy any of the movies and or series, but have deep respect for the franchise. My dumbass didn't know this was Boba Fett. I got this in a loot crate and I sent Felix a picture, said, yo, bro, what is this? And he's like, dude, that's Boba Fett. He's right there. I'm like, oh, he is. I never even noticed he was right there.
I remember that.
Wait, I didn't notice he was right here. I didn't see him. So stupid. Now that I've seen countless of hours of Star Wars since then, I'm like, how stupid was I? This is my perspective of Star Wars. So that's why I felt like, because I'm neutral, I'm Switzerland when it comes to Star Wars, I feel like I could give an honest opinion and be able to look and find the good and the bad of what happens on screen when it comes to this Acolyte show. I'm being neutral without being overwhelmed by love or hate. I just tell you what it is. And with that, it's rough. Felix is here.
Hi.
He is a fan. He's such a fan that he knew not to watch this shit from the beginning. Let's kind of go through my thoughts of this series. Again, I went into the series looking for positives. Okay? The very first thing of this show, to me, a casual, a non-Star Wars fan, I was like, that don't look right. It looks weird. It looked off to me. I could be tripping. It's a minor thing, but I'm sure Star Wars fans are going crazy over even that. So the kind of gist of the show is that there's a good twin and an evil twin.
Parent Trap.
Basically, they literally do some parent trapping. They switch sides for a second, and it's weird and it doesn't make no sense. But the good twin is living her life. The bad twin is going around and killing Jedi who she felt wronged her.
Okay.
But they don't know that each other exists because there were events that made it seem like the evil twin died. I did like the scene in the beginning. They gave this creature money and it looked like 20 pesos coins. So I did like that. And I will say the fighting is cool throughout the whole show, but there's just not enough of it. And then like one of the main things of the show is that an assassin kills a Jedi.
Okay. Now, how did the assassin kill the Jedi? So the assassin used the Force?
Yes. So I'm like, isn't the Jedi more powerful when it comes to the Force stuff?
Of course. You'll use the Force against another Force user. It's not as effective as you use it to another character.
There's this one green lady that was just screaming Karen to me, like without her even speaking. Super major Karen vibes.
I've only seen pictures of her, like literally stills. I don't like her.
I didn't think that the face paint was good on her. It did not look good.
It literally looked like face paint?
Yeah. And also Daphne Keane, who plays Jackie Lawn. Yeah, hers looked like cosplay too. I don't know, man. It was something off. Like, you can say whatever the you want about Ahsoka. Her getup is dope.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's believable.
I feel like I'm looking at a different species. And these two just kind of felt like they just glued shit on their face.
Well, Daphne Keane just have like face paint and a couple horns, right?
It looks like the same kind of makeup you would see at a Kesha concert. A major issue that I ran into early on is that I didn't understand who I was supposed to root for.
Are you supposed to root for the twins?
Well, there's an evil and a good twin, so I'm guessing I'm supposed to root for the good twin, but they're just really not giving you any reason to. There's Squid Games. Squid Games is running around. I liked Squid Games. He's probably the one I was rooting for.
He's literally the only person I've heard that is doing a good job.
He did a great job, but they did some goofy shit with his arc and his character, and they f***ed it up. So every time they lean to start to do something semi-decent, they end up screwing it up. Like, why do we like Luke, man? He's filled with curiosity. He wants to explore the galaxy. He's us. We're coming into this new world and we don't know what the hell's going on. So we live through Luke.
Yeah, he's so green in the gills that he's literally us in that universe.
Then you have the contrast of Osha, which is the good twin, and there's just no redeeming qualities. Later on in some of the episodes, they do say that she wants to explore the world, but it's not part of the character. It's just something she said.
Did you say Osha?
Yeah.
Did you say the other girl's character, the name?
May.
It's a Canadian skincare product.
The two characters are based off a Canadian scream queen. Good job. At the end of the first episode, there's a potential of a bad guy shown, and I felt nothing, mainly because the dialogue screws it up. So instead of being intrigued and interested, they said something stupid right before, and it just kills the momentum I had going into that scene. I did like the helmet though. The helmet looked cool.
Oh yeah, the helmet was bomb.
So there is a fight between Squid Games and the evil twin, which was good, but they cut away halfway through the fight, which I thought was to be dumb. So it's annoying. You're in the middle of a fight and they just decide to cut away to tell some other bullshit, boring part of the story. You're like, you're showing me the good shit. Don't go away.
Finish the good shit.
They did this thing that kept annoying me, which is not respecting the rules the show itself is showing. I haven't even get to the part where they throw out, the Star Wars rules. But then within the series, they're doing stuff that they don't take advantage of later, and it gets wildly annoying. So this is one dumb thing. Squid Games is fighting the evil twin, and very easily he starts to read her mind and knows what she's thinking and how she feels about anything. I don't know how the Force works, but he's in her mind. They're in the middle of fighting.
Harrison Ford put it beautifully in The Force Awakens.
That's not how the Force works.
He knows what she's thinking because he's like, oh, even to this day, you're thinking about your sister. But who's your master? Oh, you never, he knows all this information just by being in the same, while fighting, reading her mind.
Okay.
She's staring at this hatch on the floor for 10 seconds. You're going to tell me Squid Games doesn't know what she's going to do?
You should be 10 steps ahead of her.
So she got away.
He has to know.
So that shit pissed me off from right there. Because you're telling me he can read minds. They do little shit like this throughout the whole show, and it's just annoying to me. Don't show me what somebody can do, but then don't do it. It's annoying.
Yeah, because if you use that, every Jedi can do that. Allegedly, every Jedi should be able to do that.
And why wouldn't you do that all the time?
Yes. Imagine that shit in the prequels, in the OG movies.
So as a fan, you're not able to do that? That's not a thing you can do with the Force?
No, cabrón, no. The Force that works very differently from that.
That's not how the Force works.
Yeah, they shoved the Force up their ass and decided to do something completely different, and they managed to fuck up what could have been a potentially interesting evil twin storyline. Another thing that annoyed me, they're identical twins. But they show them as kids. The girls are not identical. The girls are not identical. Man, what do you mean? What the do you mean? Wait, there's a line later in the movie saying they're the same person. These girls don't look like each other. They have lesbian moms. Okay, cool. There's this Darth mom lady. She carried the girls. They look nothing like her. They look like the other mom. How? I don't know. I don't know. The mama is witches. And she starts to explain the Force. And they keep... Wait, I left this show not knowing what the Force was and how to control it. They went into my mind for watching the show. They kept using this stupid thread analogy. They use it like 4 times. Something about a thread and you can manipulate the thread. And I'm like, I thought the Force, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm a stupido. I thought the Force was like something that everything and every being is like around you or whatever, right? And it flows through you and that's what you can move and manipulate.
Exactly. It's what binds us together.
Yeah.
It's what makes us what we are, what makes us live. It's basically the Force is life force and some. Once you learn how to see it and manipulate it, you can manipulate nature or whatever is around you. I mean, even Jedi Master Obi-Wan couldn't read fucking minds away.
Then in the prequels, they try to do like a scientific explanation with the midichlorians or whatever, right?
I mean, that just fit it even more.
But that makes sense, no? Because there's a certain amount of points of flow, como quien dice, no? Like a certain amount of flow of Force, and that's what that is, kind of?
I may not like the midichlorians, but they make sense in a way. So, sure. It's like how in tune you are with the Force, because not everybody's that in tune with the Force.
The show basically goes, nah, that, right? But then don't really give an explanation as to how, and it's basically because of mis huevos. and I'm a lady, and I don't have werewolves, but I have werewolves. It's like,
There's an interview with Leslie Headland where she said they used identical twins.
And with identical twins, it was very difficult to tell them apart, really to track those types of the performances that you're talking about, the differentiation between the two of them.
dude, they marked the girls in the show. What are you talking about?
I'm just telling you what came from the horse's mouth. That's
Well, the horse stupid. Bruh, we've been seeing shows of twins my whole fucking life. Tia and Tamara Mari, the fucking Olsen twins, the fucking Zach and Cody. You don't know who is who, like what? What? You don't know the difference between twins? Why are you directing?
and writing and producing.
The thing is that they're playing with potential interesting things.
Mhm.
They're a coven of witches.
And in the comics, there's a bunch of shit with the witches to the point where I think Palpatine was afraid of them.
I'm saying a story revolve around in them. That it's a potential interesting theme, and it's basically like, we're witches. Okay, what the fuck can you do? Oh, I do the Force. Okay, but what can you do? The Force.
Some are not that developed, so they see the Force as magic. So they're witches or they're warlocks or whatever. And for example, the witches have some sort of tuning with the Force, but they're different. But in their ways of using the Force, they're strong way. They're like necromancers and shit.
They didn't do nothing cool with it. They took over this little Padawan Jedi for a second. He was standing there and his eyes were black. And that was it. So a quick Google search tells me what the powers of the witches are potions, voodoo, and the ability to teleport or turn invisible. They did none of that. But I'll tell you what they did do, and I didn't know this was an ability. They got themselves pregnant with the Force.
That's not how the Force works.
I don't think you got the facilities for that, bro.
The Force impregnated her? So Darth Mom? And they don't look... Okay. Huh? And they start this stupid chant that I can't get out of my head because it's so catchy.
Oh, I hate it.
But it's so catchy way. I'm not even going to put it to spare you guys. It's catchy as all hell. Bruh, if you would have told me, or even Bubbles, shout out to Bubbles. If you were like, Bubbles, there's going to be a new Star Wars show with witches, he'd be all over this shit. I can't recommend this pile of garbage.
Nope.
Instead of going, ooh, for everything that could be potentially cool, I go, brother, ew. Brother, ew. Getting someone pregnant with the Force is a very important, monumental action within this world, right? That's never happened before.
No, the only time that happened was with Anakin. There was the Sith Lord who was so strong that started manipulating the Force to make himself immortal. So literally the Force to counterbalance that evilness made Anakin. It was such a monumental thing that the bad guy was doing that nature itself created Anakin as a counterbalance.
There's a line in the show that says, I don't know how she did it, but she did it. Well, great. That's cool. You just do something so drastic that's only happened once to create the most evil villain of the history of the land. And it happens 80 years before, and you're not going to tell us how. You basically created a different form of Jesus, but I'm not going to tell you. Okay. All right. It's just a bunch of inconsistencies, man. So there's another point where Squid Games senses one of the Jedis that they're hunting to die. He's in a whole different room, but he senses when he dies. You know, like they do it all the time. But earlier, he can't sense that the evil twin did not die. They're just picking and choosing when shit works. And that's super annoying. And if it annoys me, I can only imagine it's annoying diehards.
For what I'm listening to, they're pulling the whole narrative out their ass.
For me, all these inconsistencies is just one little pebble to the giant mountain that is the reason why this is rated a 3 on IMDb.
Jesus.
All these thoughts came to me on episode 3, bro. There are 8 episodes. So it's like, if I wasn't going to make this video, I would have stopped. But for you guys, I kept watching it for that. You guys better like, comment, and subscribe on this video because I put myself through hell watching this. Because what you don't want in a show is your audience to stop caring. And after the 3rd episode, what I kept hearing in my head every time I saw the main actress was, I don't care, 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 I don't care. I don't care. You're not doing or making me give a shit about anybody except for Squid Games. She tries to show a glimpse of personality while talking to Jackie. Jackie's cool. Osha has zero charm. Zero draw. She doesn't draw your eyes to the screen. She has a droid named Pip, and that showed more personality than she did. She shows one emotion, which is moody and angry. And I'm talking about the good twin. Then all of a sudden, she tries to show some sort of personality, and it goes over like a wet fart. So in that episode that you watched, yeah, the one guy's kind of cool. But with a flick of her wrist, he sends a bunch of Jedi flying. I thought there was hierarchy. I guess not. He headbutts sabers, which looks cool, but I don't know if it works that way. I've never seen a saber malfunction like it's a flashlight before.
That metal his helmet and bracers are made of, that's the effect it causes on lightsabers. It short circuits them. But that metal is so rare and so brittle, it's very hard to forge it, let alone make it into something big. So normally they use it to make parts or like scales, or in this case, a crudely made helmet and a couple of bracers. I mean, they did like live edit Wikipedia to fit whatever shit was said on the show.
Well, because they were making a mess.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the reveal of the bad guy. Like, I didn't think it was going to be the guy who it ended up being. I had no idea. I don't know if my energy and my care was so low that I wasn't enough paying attention. One of his motivations is he wants a predecessor, but he also wants to be free to do Sith stuff, which, okay, I kind of get it. And then some people die, which, okay, add some stakes to the stupid ass show. There's nothing leaving you hungry for more. I don't know how Force works. It's frustrating because it's just simple things that they could have done to fix it, and just at least show some sort of respect to the source material. The main driving force of the show is anger, and then at the end they have an angry fight. So that is the main theme of the show, is anger, and well, good job. You made all the Star Wars nerds angry, so good job. There are no arcs in the show, man. There's spikes. Just all of a sudden, people change. I don't really care for a second season. I'm really pissed that they wasted my time. And I don't really do this kind of shit. I don't really bitch about it. Like, I think we bitched about Obi-Wan, and even then I was kind of like, I just don't like this lady, right?
Same one.
I'm usually defending Star Wars, but I really can't with this thing. Bro, they show at the end, and I couldn't give a So is it the worst show ever? I don't know. When I was reading everything leading up to it, I would have said, oh, come on. Like, the holiday special, which we just saw not that long ago, is the worst thing ever. The thing with the holiday special is that there's at least stuff there that we can laugh and make fun of. Mm-hmm. That is so bad it could be potentially good in comparison to this thing. This thing is just bland, boring, and what it's annoying is that it sounds like they played with potential of fun premises. Jedi witch ladies and cults and all this other shit and betrayal and twin sisters. Bruh, I'm Mexican. How many twin sister novela shit has there been my whole life? It feels like it's the first draft of an idea. There was no one there to be like, no, they can't do that. You know, there was no supervision from any kind of Star Wars nerd. They just let the writers say and do whatever the hell they wanted.
Allegedly, a guy named Pablo Hidalgo is their lore master. Well, quote unquote, dunking on Star Wars theory because he was so excited that he saw Luke that he cried. And he was like, oh, you cried? Oh, you're a grown ass man. So we got that type of people working on this shit.
And it's been the case for both the Star Wars and the Marvel stuff. Mm-hmm. But at least in the Marvel stuff, which I am a huge defender of, but there's some things I just can't. But we can pawn it off to universes. This is the same universe in Star Wars for everything. There's never been a hint of like, outside of Visions probably, there's never been a hint of like, it's a different parallel universe or whatever, right? I had this bit before I watched it where I was going to say, the one positive is the music. I say it was a bit I was going to say because they even screwed up some of the music, man.
Neta?
It's the farthest thing from Star Wars ever. Meh! But it's just blatant ignorance of the property, man. And I know people might say, well, what's the big deal? The big deal is this is a world that's been established with rules, customs. Now, again, that's why Felix is here. I don't know most of them, you know, but I know enough to know when something is so terribly wrong. And it just feels like the people behind the show know less than me. That's where that frustration comes from. That the people behind these projects don't know shit about the world that they're conducting these stories in. So going back to my first point of how I opened the video is like, actors don't have to be fans of things, but the writers do. there has to be a nerd or an autistic person behind the scenes doing the actuallys.
Shout out for autism.
Hell yeah. And this goes for every property that is carrying a torch and is continuing story for something that came before. There has to be actually people there, man, to maintain the continuity. If not, you just have a bunch of people doing a bunch of projects that are supposed to be in the same world, but one contradicts the other, making nothing make sense anymore.
Well, look what they did with Cavill. He was the actually guy, and they
fired him because he was too annoying. But even then, that's what I'm saying. There are some properties you can do that with. You could probably do it with The Witcher because how many people actually read those books, right? The noise is not as loud, that you have creative freedom with that, but you still have to respect those rules. You can't do nothing with Star Wars way. You can't change nothing from Star Wars.
That's not how the Force works.
Because they decanonize everything that is not in the movies or the series.
My main takeaway from this show was, I don't understand how you walk into Disney and be like, here's my show, witches and Force babies, and how nobody went,
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
and then it got made.
Kathleen Kennedy was like backing it up hard.
That might be the reason why. But hey, I'm just neutral. I don't know shit, right? But those were my thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to always and forever, you do.
Bye.